While the president was defending the First Lady today, she was very much the absent star at the Senate Whitewater committee hearings. There have been all sorts of suggestions from the Republicans yesterday that a witness at today's hearings would contradict some of Mrs. Clinton's past statements. Here's ABC's Jackie Judd.
There was a very bright young associate in our law firm.
Republicans guaranteed that the First Lady loomed over the hearings today as they tried to use her own words against her. They only partially succeeded. Today's witness was Richard Massey, the lawyer Mrs. Clinton said was responsible for bringing in the savings and loan central to this controversy as a Rose Law Firm client. Massey conceded he had early contact with a Madison executive, but he didn't get very far.
You did not come to Mrs. Clinton with an engagement in hand, a contract in hand to do the Madison work. I don't recall that happening, no, sir.
But Massey seemed to support the First Lady's statement that she had done little work for Madison when it was trying to put together a stock offering.
Mrs. Clinton had a role in obviously she had a role in those matters. I view it as a supervisory role. But in terms of who was in the trenches and doing the work, Senator, it was me.
At today's hearing, the Democrats complained bitterly, charging Republicans with a full-scale assault against Mrs. Clinton and ultimately the president.
But the course that this committee has taken in the last several weeks leaves no doubt that we have abandoned any attempt at impartial fact-finding and are now fully engaged in the presidential election of battle.
But both sides are engaged in presidential politics now, raising the question of whether Congress is the place to carry out such a complex, high-stakes investigation. Jackie Judd, ABC News, Washington.
Tomorrow night on the ABC News program 2020, Barbara Walters is going to talk at length with Mrs. Clinton about her troubles, and here is an excerpt from that interview.
Mrs. Clinton seemed calm and confident amidst the blizzard of accusations against her. First, the major questions concerning the suicide of White House lawyer Vince Foster. Did she direct that documents be taken out of his office the night of his death? If not, why were there so many phone calls between her and her friends and lawyers that night?
There were no documents taken out of Vince Foster's office on the night he died, and I did not direct anyone to interfere in any investigation. I know very well what we were talking about. We were grieving, and some of those phone conversations consisted of us sobbing on the phone.
What if her one-time client, Madison Guarantee Savings and Loan? Mrs. Clinton denied knowledge of any fraudulent dealings. Were you aware of any shady practices or actual wrongdoing on the part of this savings and loan for which you did legal work?
Absolutely not.
You did not know?
Absolutely
Even
not.
in their real estate deals?
No, absolutely not.
And how about that memo from an ex-White House aide who says that Mrs. Clinton was directly responsible for the firing of the White House travel staff?
I did not direct anyone to make the decisions, but I have absolutely no doubt that I did express concern because I was concerned about any kind of financial mismanagement.
And Mrs. Clinton told us she is not shy about expressing her opinion. Finally, there is the political question. Has Hillary Rodham Clinton become a liability to her husband?
Oh, I hope not, because I love my husband and I really believe in what he's doing and I want to help him.
Barbara Walters, ABC News, New York.